Guten Tag. Guys, we're going to do this whole episode in German today.
Oh, good morning.
Guten
That's not German.
afternoon.
I mean, you've lived the closest to Germany, Cal. Could
Uh-huh.
you... Do you
Nope.
know any German? No, nothing?
None. I did French.
Is that what they spoke in the Berg?
So Luxembourg is basically split three ways because it's pretty evenly divided between
Wish I could be like that.
Belgium, France, and Germany. So I mostly lived on the French side. So I tried to study France and French.
Is there like a middle part where it's like nobody can really understand each other because everyone's speaking different languages?
That's the city, Luxembourg City, and they mostly just speak English.
Really?
That tracks.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
That's interesting.
Well, guys, welcome to the Global Pals podcast. Wait, hold on. Sorry, my producer's telling me it's the Comics Pals, actually.
Oh,
interesting.
We didn't announce the name change yet.
Yep. We didn't get our other co-hosts that are now from Guyana and Latveria. That's not a real place. I tried to name two random countries, and one of them was fictional.
Even worse than fictional. Completely word salad made up.
No, isn't that Dr. Doom's?
Yeah.
Latveria is.
Isn't that what I said?
Where's Guyana?
Oh, that's a real country.
That's a real country.
Are you not thinking of Ghana?
No, there's two different
South
ones.
America.
Guyana is South America. Yeah.
I only know about Ghana, West Africa, as my family calls it.
The Republic of Guyana.
Yes.
South
I
America.
had a lot of Guyanese. I had a couple
listen,
Guyanese
I
friends growing up.
apologize.
Yeah. Trap Sword in the chat. What's up, Trap Sword? Hello. How you
What
doing?
up?
Good evening. So
my reside?
you might have noticed something a little different this week on Pals Polls. And
A
that's
little light.
oh, wait, what does that mean?
Just less
It's not
people.
complexion? Oh, okay. All right.
Wow, Tyler, come on.
I warned Kale before this that I made a new cocktail for myself because I will be adding cocktail recipes to the Comics Pals Patreon page for my monthly newsletter, so you
Let's
can
go.
see what I made this coming week. But I made it and I didn't eat anything today, so let's see how that goes.
Blasted.
I'm not. But to be fair, this drink is half beer, half rum.
Ooh,
It's a beer
okay.
cocktail. Yeah, Marco, I think you might like this. I think you might like this.
I like the combination already.
It's called a Brooklyn Thai. It's a mix between a Mai Tai and a Brooklyn Lager.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking of,
It sounds almost like a something a mob would do to you. I'm gonna
Brooklyn
take you
Thai.
down to the river and give you a Brooklyn tie.
it's like when they slit your throat open, but instead of pulling your tongue out from between it, they take your top knot and they just shove it through your neck.
Yeah.
Yep. Only do it to people with man buns from Brooklyn. That's a stereotype, right? Guys, feel free to check us out on Patreon if you want to support the show. Our Patreon has weird shit like that. You can check out Marco's Muckhole there, Sean's Soapbox. Kel, what was it that you decided to call yours again? It was...
So I'll probably name it something different next month, but this
Okay.
month it was Kale's favorite coffee cup.
That's right.
And I talked almost exclusively about Columbo for my first newsletter.
okay.
So things are going great.
I saw on
What-
Twitter somebody pitched a Columbo reboot starring Natasha Lyonne, and I was like, excuse me, yes?
Allegedly, that's what this new Ryan Johnson project with her is going to be. And I'm thrilled.
Oh, wait. Ryan Johnson and Natasha Lyonne doing something?
Yeah. He said he wrote whatever his new thing is that's coming out on Peacock specifically for her.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so I'm all over it. It's the first thing that's made me go, shit, I got to get a streaming service.
That's saying something.
Kale, Columbo from 1968?
Yeah, homie. It is my favorite show.
Okay. Shit.
I've never seen it, but I know its credentials, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think as a film person, I think you would really enjoy it.
Actually, I might have seen an episode in my TV studies class in college.
Makes
That's
sense.
how I watched Sex and the City for the first time. I had to watch that in school. Guys, if you're wondering why we're called the Comics Pals and we haven't talked about comics yet, because this week has been it's a week of comics this week.
It's been a week.
This
books?
felt like a fifth week of books for me,
Boy, did it.
even though it's the first week. So
Oh, so it
kind
is.
of funny how that turned out. I think it's because it was the week right before Free Comic Book Day, where I think like the quote unquote big bombs that were coming out don't come out until Saturday. So,
yeah.
or if you're Bleeding Cool a week ago. So it'd be interesting to see what comes out on Saturday. Let's say I'm looking forward to Saturday to read some books, but we did read 4 books today, and I read digital, so I can't show you my variants or anything like Sean does. I'm sorry.
Oh,
but,
Sad that we don't get variants either. Like, I would like a variant. Just give me a variant. I'd pay for that.
Would you pay extra for a digital variant?
Oh no, absolutely not. But give me the option of getting the
I mean,
variant.
Mr. NFT over here, I wouldn't put it past you. Come on, if they were like, "Hey, this Swamp Thing is a digital variant that's almost like a video," and you telling me you wouldn't think about it?
Oh, I would absolutely think about it. I would probably like stop myself mid-click, but
no, you would do it.
I'd probably do it.
Especially if
full
it was a
click.
Swamp Thing. Are you kidding me?
Ooh, yeah,
You wouldn't even
moved-
hesitate.
Full click right there.
And it had the
In
parallax effect that they have in like those like iPhones, where like you can like move the phone, and like the image moves a bit
Oh
too.
yeah, it changes with it
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good.
Weren't those holograms or something back in the day?
The holographics or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd do it. And we know you would. You could say no.
Yeah.
We know you'd do it. Yeah. But this week we're tackling four books. So we picked up Flashpoint Beyond #1, Star Wars Obi-Wan #1, Obi-Wan, Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird #1, and Twig #1 from Image Comics. A week exclusively with #1s, which I didn't mean to do,
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
but it just turns out that way. Technically, Flashpoint is sort of a
technically-
#2. It's a
I tell you,
#1.
It felt a lot more like a #1 than the
Then the other
Zero
one.
issue did. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Let's start off with Flashpoint Beyond #1. So the team on this is Jeff Johns and Jeremy Adams writing, with Tim Sheridan helping with writing as well, Zermanico on art, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. on color. So I believe this is one of them situations where Jeff Johns is not actually writing the whole thing. He's probably plotting it with Adams and Sheridan actually working on the script. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an assumption. I don't know exactly. How'd you guys feel with this one?
This was better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was smoother than the Zero issue. I didn't feel like I needed to, pull out my textbook and reference stuff and all that jam. This was a straightforward Thomas Wayne story, him investigating, and I appreciated that. I don't think a lot happens, which is probably my only critique. Like, we don't really learn much. We just eliminate Aquaman as a suspect here, but that didn't feel like too much plot progression. And for a first issue, and considering we had a Zero issue, I would have hoped for a bit more. Like, we kind of just are jumping into this, but I did appreciate that I wasn't just lost out of the gate, and I could follow along. I sort of understand where they're heading, which I think works for the pacing of the story. But I would have wanted a little bit more, just like a little more meat and things that happen.
Interesting. I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. A lot more than the Zero issue, and I think it's because Jeff Johns wasn't the only writer, whatever his duties were. I looked back on that Zero issue, and it only lists him as the writer. So
Yeah, I believe it was just him on the Zero issue. Yeah.
maybe my man don't got it no more.
Uh-oh.
Kelly, did you see the rumors about his next project at DC?
No,
It's a JSA comic.
Ooh.
not one that I'm gonna pick up.
Wait, why not?
It's gonna
Jeff
be
Johns is on it.
but it's gonna if it includes Wildcat, we have to read it for the
We have
meme
to read
alone.
it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, obligatory at that point.
Oh well, no skin off my back. Yeah, no, this was good. I think the intrigue was there. I didn't particularly dislike Thomas Wayne, but I found his character different enough from the normal Bruce stuff that there was a good vibe. I really like the interactions with Oswald.
Yeah.
How he has become the new Alfred, I don't know, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't there a thing where like the Pennyworths and the Cobblepots like switched in history or something? Like one had some sort of inheritance and the other one stole it from the other, or something like that. Because those
this
families
Flashpoint
are
lore?
intertwined, right?
It could be Flashpoint lore, yeah.
Dude, Gotham families are all intertwined. They're all fish in the same pond. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
There's like 5 families in Gotham that's like everything is involved with them. The Canes,
Yeah.
the Cobblepots, the Pennyworths, and the Waynes.
I think the Pennyworths one of those families?
Well, I feel like there's like 5 Pennyworths we know of. Like, his daughter is a frequent, flyer in the Gotham mythos. But for me, I enjoyed it too. I actually did like it. I kind of liked living in that Flashpoint universe again. Because even in Flashpoint, it felt like Barry was really the driving force of that. I mean, obviously, for what the story was. But there was a lot going on in Flashpoint, and we never really got to live with much of it. Because it was beat after beat. It was, destruction of the world with the Atlanteans. Wonder Woman versus Aquaman this whole time. Here's this scrawny Superman. It was just really getting little screenshots of big moments where I feel like we're actually here. We're actually living in this universe now, which I'm liking. Because it lets us see, the odd characters like a Cobblepot. This kind of reminds me of the tie-in issues that we would have had for Flashpoint. I think there was a Flashpoint Batman had its own tie-in. I think like 2 or 3 mini issue series or whatever. It's where you find out the Joker of that world is Martha Wayne.
Martha, yeah.
But I kind of like living that. I think the kid with the gun is creepy as hell.
You know what? Fun though. I mean, how different is that from Dick Grayson and his whole thing? It's fun.
That's the spin on it here. Like, this is the Robin in Thomas Wayne's world is a tragedy he caused. Not a tragedy that his enemies caused. Like, he essentially caused his father to die. So it's a nice little spin. I like how this book doesn't really feel like it's taking itself too seriously either, which I enjoy. Because I think with a serious world like this, it could have that aura where it's just like, all right, I get it. This place sucks. Relax. It's a little goofy. Like Cobblepot, kind of goofy. Those Atlantean grunts. Who, one of them was named Topo, which I think canonically is Aquaman's seahorse in our universe. I believe
I heard that name before, but
or his octopus. It's one of the two.
Topo, isn't he a guard?
He's a guard in this.
In this,
No, but isn't he a guard regularly?
I don't know. I can
That
do a
name
quick.
sounds familiar. Beyond.
Yeah.
But I like the goofiness of that. And I like how this. Topo's the octopus.
It's the big thing.
It's actually the little thing. The big thing was a more recent change, but like originally in the comics, it was like the Little Mermaid octopus that played the drums.
Oh yeah, his goofy thing. He played instruments and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought it was good. I think that I really like the Zermanico art a lot. Honestly, it was just clean.
Yeah. Yeah. The colors were really good on this too. It really added to that lighter touch.
I would say, if I had like one gripe with this, is kind of those last couple pages where we get to our world, and nothing really happens. It's like not much changes happen between 0 and 1 on that side. Like, Batman's literally in the same spot with his little bugle boy next to him, whose name I still don't know.
Yeah.
I just know he's one of the Time Lords, or is that that's a Doctor Who thing? Time, what's the DC thing?
He
Is it
might
Time
as well
Lord?
be a Time Lord,
Wizard.
Time Elf.
Time battling boy.
Time Wizard, I think, is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Marco.
Oh yeah, probably. I think it is.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's a little guy controls time. Same thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yep.
It that frustrated me, that last page, because I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this where we ended literally in the last issue? And now
Yep.
I'm seeing this again. What? I get it. He's somehow important. I don't know the importance, so why should I care? And why should I see it twice in back-to-back issues?
I guess my argument there, and is the point I was going to bring up, is, I guess the expectation maybe is that more people would pick up the number 1 than the 0 issue.
Fair. So like, do it in both.
You do some semblance of it, yeah.
I guess you gotta kind of have to reiterate it.
Yeah.
Because they might not have read the 0 issue. I mean, and also, like, if nobody knows, how do you know there's a 0 issue?
Yeah.
Like, even if you look in the corner, like the corner box, it's 1 of 6.
Yeah.
It's
There's
not.
no preamble.
But like, how do
no,
you?
like-
Yeah. There's. I don't remember there being anything where it's like, oh, in the previous issue.
Yeah.
This is why the 0 issue is stupid.
Unless they incorporate it well. If you incorporate it well, then you make it a functional tool, and that's
Sure,
a good
yeah.
thing.
Well, I think literally every other part of this book functions off the 0 issue really well, except for the last part.
Yeah. It's a repeat, and everything else builds at least a little bit off of that.
Sorry, my beer was overfilling. We're good. We're safe, guys. We're safe. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read the rest of the series. I like living in this world, even though it's really fucked up. I want to see like the other iterations of characters. Like, I don't remember actually ever getting much of Flashpoint Superman. He makes one big appearance in Flashpoint, but I think that is I'm okay with him going back to, because I think there's potential there. I like all the name dropping in this, Kel. Did you catch a lot of those names from like the news footage?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
Where
did.
it's like, oh, these are actual human names of big characters. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm pretty excited. I don't want to say excited. I'm at least looking forward to the rest of this. I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it more than I thought.
This was, I think, good. Nothing stands out necessarily. I don't know if it wasn't for the show, I probably wouldn't keep reading this, just because I'm not someone who's gonna jump into crisis stuff, and it doesn't whet my whistle as much as it might for other people. This is this is multiversal things that I don't have a connection with and don't have history with, and there's too much reading to be done to contextualize myself in it, that I'm just like, I'd rather ignore this, see how it affects the universe, and then extrapolate from there.
I mean, that the one thing with this being a Jeff Johns book, and that we saw a hint of it in the 0 issue, is the whole Watchmen of it all is still looming over this. Like, where does that fit in? Why do we keep doing that?
Yeah, it references the button issue, Batman and
Batman the
Flash.
Button. Yeah.
Wasn't that like 2019?
No, it was earlier.
My man, that was
it?
before we started the Comics Pals.
No way.
Yeah. It was like the first. It was Barry and Batman discover the comedian's button.
It was
Yeah.
it was
And it was like the
15
first seed.
It was
Yeah.
like 15 issues into the Rebirth era.
Not even
Like,
Rebirth. This would have been pre-Rebirth, because wouldn't it? Because didn't Rebirth lead
No.
into no? Okay.
No, it led,
I
it
think
led
you're right.
into Rebirth.
Yeah, I believe this led into what year is the button? Because like that whole thing
I'm
was the
saying
first seed.
2015.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. Okay.
Yeah, so we would have
Written by
just
Williamson
have-
and Tom King. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
It would have been.
we
Yeah,
would've
you're
just
right. It
started
is
that.
part of the. Interesting. But yeah, like, where does that fit in? Are we going to be seeing those Doomsday Clock characters again? Which, interesting discussion about Doomsday Clock in the Discord recently is that like I always thought it would. It reads very good in trade, which I still don't have, so I'm probably going to pick that up. In fact, I might check if my comic shop has it this week when I go over for free comic book day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. it didn't pull me, when I was reading it before, and I'm not interested to go back to the well. Like I think the other stuff we got has turned out a lot better, and it's utilized the Watchmen ideas better.
You mean the Doomsday Clock stuff specifically?
Better
the stuff
than the
outside of that?
Doomsday. Better than the Doomsday Clock
Better
stuff.
than Doomsday? Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's my only attachment, because in the Zero issue, those were the two characters that I recognized. I was like, hey, wait, you know those guys? Everybody
Do they
knows.
even
Marionette.
have
Yeah.
speaking lines in the Zero issue? Like, I don't remember that happening.
Yeah,
Very
mime.
few. Very few.
No, Marionette.
Okay.
It definitely
I'm
would
pretty sure mine doesn't. So would you guys? So for Flashpoint Beyond number 1, pull, pass.
Pull with a caveat. My caveat being, I wouldn't normally pull this. Like, I have no interest in this whatsoever. But this issue is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the same one. Pull with a caveat. If this is your jam in terms of the stuff that interests you within superhero comics, absolutely pick it up. It's a must read, and it was good. But for my general reading, this probably wouldn't be on my pull list.
I would say pull because this feels like that like side project they gave Jeff Johns just to stop talking, like to keep him busy. But I think it's fun. So let's get into let's go watch an episode of Star Wars Babies with Star Wars Obi-Wan number 1. This is by Christopher Cantwell, writing with art by Ario Anindito and colors by Carlos Lopez with letters by Joe Caramagna. How do you feel? Let me just start this real quick. How do you feel about that cover, Marco? This is the Phil Noto cover.
Oh my god. All right, you know what? Phil Noto, he misses a lot for me. This was good. This was fine. This wasn't anything
it's a good
too
cover.
crazy.
I feel like Phil Noto covers are generally pretty strong.
Yeah,
They're
you can-
usually better
you can
than
bet on those.
interiors.
Yeah.
You got lines here. I can see where the
Got the
difference
twin
between people are.
suns, you got the dueling lightsabers facing different directions. Like, I think it's
It's good.
a good cover.
This was
Let's talk about the actual book, though.
For the book, do you guys read any of the other Star Wars stuff?
I pick and choose. I read a little bit of the War of the Bounty Hunters most recently. How they do not have a Mandalorian book out there is beyond me.
Wild.
It's I don't know of a better way to describe it, but fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That they don't have one. Merch sells like crazy. Like, put out a fucking Grogu one shot. Like that's what I would read. My problem with the Star Wars stuff has always been, especially with Marvel, is that they've never continued the story. They've only filled out gaps, really. They've been kind of tackling it with the High Republic stuff, which I believe is a prequel, but that's like pre-prequels. It's like way far back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to move forward in the world. So that's not to say they weren't good. I do like the Jason Aaron stuff. Kieran Gillen's Darth Vader is fantastic.
Oh, excellent.
But it's been more miss than hit for me.
Yeah, of the most recent stuff, I haven't picked up the new Star Wars or the Darth Vader series, but on recommendation from, I believe, Manny and Matt in the Discord, got Dr. Aphra, which is pretty good. That one's pretty, it's a fun book. And I've been following the High Republic stuff. That was pretty good. The first arc, second arc kind of fell off, and I'm back on. But that's the extent. I try to pick up some of these Star Wars books, but it's similar to you, Tyler. Just, if I see it, maybe not. This was definitely one that I was thinking about picking up. And you know what? I had fun.
Really? Okay.
It didn't
Think me and
blow
Cal
my
are gonna
socks
be
off,
honest.
but it was an enjoyable enough story for me to continue forward with it. I don't know that I'm going to pick up an issue 2, because if this is more of what we're going to be getting, where we go in the past and he just regales a story of old, I'm not interested.
I mean, what else is he gonna do? He's in a friggin' sand world, and he's in his hut by himself. iPods don't even exist in this world. I mean, it's in the far future. There might be a dead one somewhere, but
God, what a nightmare.
I wonder if there's a subset of listeners that are gonna be like, "What's an iPod? You mean an iPhone?"
Ooh, that's so
Not-
sad.
Not ours.
No,
I don't think so.
ours.
You
No.
don't think?
Not our listeners, no. We got these crusty old dudes. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I find this type of story very tropey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when I was a kid, I went on this adventure and my friend was in trouble, and then I bailed him out. All right. It's just that I don't know. I didn't feel like there was anything worth anything here.
Like, my issue too is like, if we're gonna go back in the past like that, and you're gonna show one of Obi-Wan's childhood Jedi Academy friends, it's a comic book. Make it a cool alien character. You know, like
Yeah, right?
why does he have? Why can't it be I don't know, a Catamarillion, or I don't know, what was Kit Fisto? I don't know. I like the tentacle ears guy. It could be a Twi'lek. It could be, you know, something like that. Oh man, let me get a Twi'lek woman. God, I am drinking. But yeah, it was just it reeked of, hey, we need an Obi-Wan book out, but you can't tell the stories we want to tell on the TV show. like we're filling in those gaps already. You don't get to do that. You have to figure out something else.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's just like, with that being the first issue, it's just like, this is not a strong start.
Yeah. And if it's gonna be like a series, and we're gonna be staying in this time, don't get rid of the secondary character here. Like, give me something to hold on to. I thought this was gonna be a turnaround, and it's like, you're right, I'll stay with you, and we'll go through the academy together. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll follow that story. That's like I guess, I don't know, a misplaced like school coming of age story. I'll follow that. I'll buy that. But I don't know what this is going to be after this.
I'm maybe wondering if like he has other stories of running into this character throughout his life.
He says he never saw him again.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But the character, I think she has like this vision of this beast or something.
Something like that.
And I think that might be the through line between these.
That might come back. That I can see.
I really don't. Yeah, that's another issue. Where like I don't know where this goes. Does he tell another story? Poor guy doesn't even have kids to tell the story to. He's talking to himself.
Yeah.
Well, he talks to who, I guess, R2? Oh no, he just knows R2.
No, he doesn't even have R2.
No,
he doesn't even recognize R2. Like,
Yeah.
That's right.
And yeah, like especially if you know anything about like the Clone Wars TV series, which is, all canon and everything, like he had Sabine for a while, and it's like he has just locked himself away on Tatooine, and he truly is this sad old man, and this is what we're getting out of him. Like,
yeah, Marco wanted the coming of age love story Jedi book. It's the religion versus
That would've
what
been
like
great.
Attack of the Clones wanted to do for bits and pieces.
yeah.
That would have been great.
You want to see like Obi-Wan, does he choose his lightsaber or fucking? Like that's the kind of. But it's Star Wars,
Lightsaber
so there is no
love.
sex in Star Wars.
There's no sex in Disney.
Eh,
We all watched Eternals. We know what does and doesn't happen.
it's like two planks hitting each other. Oh, you do that with gorgeous people like that too. It's
it
insane to me.
That's what
ain't
they
penetration, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
That's what they mean when lightsabers clash against each other.
It's like it's like what the Mormons do. What do they call it? Soaking.
Yeah.
Is that
Marco,
Mormons? I
how
don't
long
know.
has it been since we've talked about soaking?
Oh man, like a few months at this point.
3 years?
No.
Like you guys don't understand time either. It doesn't make sense anymore.
It's a flat circle.
But yeah, like I didn't. This book was a bummer for me. The thing is, like I'm a big Christopher Cantwell fan. Like everything that he's done so far at Marvel, the current Iron Man series is fantastic. The Doom series that was like in 2019 was amazing. Probably my favorite book of the year.
Yeah, it was.
And,
It was
and that's
based on
saying
your,
something.
it was based on your praise. That I was like, okay, this will probably be all right.
And it's saying something because LaRocca was on art. Like if you can, but it worked for LaRocca's art too, which was insane to me. And even like I read an issue of The Mask by Christopher Cantwell that was good as well. So like reading this, like I was just kind of bummed. It just felt like he got like so the Mickey Mouse just swung a bat at his knees, saying, "Yeah, you can only do this much with this."
Yeah.
We need to put it out.
Yeah. I mean, it came out May the 4th. You know, right when the Obi-Wan trailer came out, it just reeks of corporate synergy.
Hey, at least they have it.
I'm looking at you, WB Discovery.
Huh?
Got him. Yeah, I don't know. I'd want something more. I just wish they would just like continue the story. Like the Mandalorian already built a new post main series world. We can forget about the sequels. Like that's its own thing. But like we can live there for a bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
But they're gonna control how that plays out.
Sure.
And it's not gonna be in the comics.
Yep. I think that's my issue. Yeah.
Should.
I don't know. This is why we had the Star Wars extended universe. You know, like just tell stories, have fun, have your own epic, in non-visual media.
Speaking of that, did you guys ever read the? It was like a young Obi-Wan series way back, probably around episode 1.
Did he fuck a Twi'lek in it?
No. This was
I
like
probably
this
won't be
is
reading
like
it.
it would have been what his what this book, the era of Obi-Wan's life, it would have been what this book was about.
Oh, I gotcha. No. Any good?
Yeah, it was great. Perfect for an 8-year-old walking around Walmart.
What did you guys feel of the art? I thought for the most part it worked. I
didn't mind the art at all. Yeah, I didn't mind the art at all. I thought it was pretty good.
I actually like the older Obi-Wan parts in terms of the art a lot better.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a lot more dynamic, I guess.
Detailed too.
Yeah. Whereas the younger Obi-Wan stuff, it felt normal. Sort of house, I guess house style is probably the best way to put it. Just you open a comic book and that's what it looks like.
Sure.
The one shot that I actually liked, it was like an overhead shot of young Obi with can I call him Obi? Is that fine? With like Coruscant below him, and you can see like the different layers. Like I thought that was a good angle to choose to really show the scope as Coruscant. So like it is a well-crafted book. Like it's totally serviceable, but like for what it could have been, I think is where my issue is. Or maybe my preconceived notion of what this book should have been is what's clouding my opinion on it. But
I don't know, man. It's just I think it's just a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
definitely. They could have done so much more, and to be fair, they are doing more in some of the other books, like the High Republic. But
Crimson Reign's going on right now, I think.
Yeah. But for this was fine.
So what are we thinking? Polar pass or trade weight?
Hard pass.
Trade weight, actually. I think.
Okay.
I think I'd be willing to wait off to see where they go with it.
I'm gonna say pass. I'm personally probably still gonna pick up issue 2.
I think I might.
Because I tend to like to give books more than one issue.
Same.
Just out of
You're a good man,
fairness.
Tyler.
Yeah, what can I say? But let's talk about Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird. Number 1, is there any point to say number 1? This is co-written by Steve Orlando and former AEW Women's Champion Nyla Rose, with art by David Cutler, and inks by Jose Marzan Jr. and Roberta Poggi, so 2 inkers on this. Colorist Irma Nivea. And Tom Mueller, as always. I think we all read the first Thunderbird story ever.
The first solo ever issue.
Yeah, I mean,
That's probably true. Yeah.
that's kind of what I liked about this issue, to be honest. I liked how this issue felt completely removed from everything. This was just like a Native American superhero story. He just happened to be a mutant, So if you're looking at this like, oh, this is one of those other giant size X-Men books that Hickman was doing where they were all like super important to major Krakoan plot points, Sorry, guy, you're not getting that in this. This is literally it's a character piece in an oversized issue, really.
And
Yeah,
it's pretty just like lighthearted fun in the sense that like sure we're dealing with people stealing other people for their genetic DNA, but it's just
yeah, lighthearted.
romp.
You know, human trafficking.
Human
Yeah.
trafficking, it's typical Wednesday. Days of today, Thursday.
I mean, we got in the U.S. maybe, yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
But it was fun.
Did you I mean, I think one of the cool things is that he's a clean slate essentially. Like I think we get a flashback in this, which is essentially his real big plot point in his entire comics history.
That when he dies.
On a plane. I will say he looked a little too big for that plane, or that plane looked a little too small for him. Like he's like almost the size of half a wing. Like how big is this plane?
Big man.
No, it looks pretty normal, actually.
Okay. That could just be the rum beer talking, but
It might be.
it could be.
To that though, that is his character. Like that is the history of this who this person is, and for that to be the situation, I think it's good that they're giving him this book. They're sort of restyling him. They're giving him a new direction. And you're right, it's a clean slate. Like you can do whatever you want with this character now. Considering the only history you need to worry about is, well, he died. Okay. Well, shit. I free reign to do anything else, right?
Cool. So don't kill him. Great.
Easy.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Yeah. I do like the idea of the fact that like this guy's legacy is his death, and how does somebody get past that themselves? And I like the idea that he's like, fuck mutants. Like they didn't do anything for me. I was dead this whole time. I know that they brought everyone back, but I wasn't brought back for some reason. Fuck all you guys. Fuck Krakoa. It's not my home. My home is where my actual family is. Sure, he saves more mutants there, but besides the point, it was nice to kind of see an X-Men story not in Krakoa.
Yeah. And as much as he saves some mutants, they're all Apache. So for him, that's the goal. Is he's
That's
there to
his identity,
save his people. He's on. He's back in the homeland, for lack of a better term.
What do you think of his new costume?
I dug it.
Yeah,
liked
it turned out a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
You know, when I read the Jumbo Carnation letter or whatever, I was like, I don't know about this. But yeah, it really worked out. I do actually like it for the character. It's not the normal thing I think I would go for in a costume.
I think you could pull this one off, Cal.
You can pull turquoise.
Yeah, I think so.
Listen, bitches, I know I could pull it off. It's just not what I would go for.
Okay. It's not your style.
But I think it really works. I think it does a lot to work with the the Native American imagery and symbolism, and I think that's really it's a really good move.
We critique the intermediary, like in info dump pages, but I actually appreciated that note to Carnation in this one. Like I read through it and I was like, oh, you know what? This is a cool way to then turn the page and get like a costume reveal, because you get the context and like the meaning behind it, and then you see it fully executed. And I'm like, oh, that was a good sort of page turn, because reading it digitally, you just keep swiping through. I did appreciate that, and I think it worked, especially in light of the new issue. The new costume, and the fact that these pages get used in a variety of ways, and this felt like an organic way to incorporate it into the story and to get something out of it.
And I do specifically like the color choices too. How like they mean something to the Apache people, and it's a direct, directly not choosing yellow and black. It's like it's really leaving the X-Men part of them away.
The song is Black and Yellow.
By Wizard Khalifa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kale, thoughts on Wiz Khalifa?
I gotta take a Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I might actually after drinking all this, but
You probably will.
You probably have.
yeah. I mean, I thought this was a fun issue. I don't think it's. I think labeling it as like a giant size X-Men thing, I think is kind of maybe not something I would have done. Because there, within the past couple of years, that has had a impact that this book doesn't have to the larger story. I don't see why you couldn't just name this Thunderbird #1.
Well,
But-
probably because that sets up an
I mean, yeah,
expectation
I guess
of a
that's
number
why,
two.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was also like giant size. That's the return of. That's the book that he was in. So
Oh, good
for me,
point.
that made sense.
Yeah. It's funny. He's like one of those characters that's so iconic, but he has no story. But he's only really iconic because that giant size X-Men #1 is like one of these most iconic covers of all time.
Yeah.
And he's like one of the front and center characters.
Well, I also think it is still similar to the other giant size, I guess, with the exception of like the Nightcrawler one where they go back to the Westchester mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are character pieces. The thing is, they're character pieces for characters we've been following for 60 years. So you do have to root them a little bit in what's going on now and, other characters. Whereas with this guy, he has been around.
Yeah. What did you? So I'm not familiar with AEW. Tyler, how did you feel Nyla Rose did here?
With these books where there's like co-writers and stuff, I always wish they would more expressly say where the delineation of power is. Like make someone plotter, make someone script writer. Like that's what I would prefer because I can never really tell. And I'm also not too familiar with Steve Orlando's work to really be able to tell where that would be. But if she did work on this heavily, I think it's a pretty good first outing, honestly. Like enough where like somebody said, "Oh, this is a mini series written by Nyla Rose." I'd probably check it out, to be honest. Or I feel like there is more to be levied here. I don't know her chops on writing historically. I mean, if I look her up here, I don't think her Twitter's great, but she fucking dunks on people constantly on Twitter. It looks like she's credited as creating the Lozen Proud Star character, the grandma. So I don't know, but I would check it out again. I'm curious to see if she gets any more gigs writing.
Yeah, if this is her first stuff, it was pretty good. And to your point, yeah, you can't really tell the breakout of the work there, how it delineates. But this was, I think it was paced well. I think I enjoyed the. For me, I sort of felt the anger, especially as he goes and attacks the police station. It gets pulled in. I think I got pulled into those moments, and that's effective because sometimes I feel like they could be a little over the top when it's like, oh, my people, and you're subjugating them to this stuff, and it feels like, all right, I get that concept, but I liked that the grandma comes in and sort of is not the voice of reason, but that voice to calm this character. As much as that is that sort of unfettered rage, he respects his elders and his family, and I think that came through and shown through more so than the anger, especially in light of the grandma being like, "Hey, chill out."
Yeah, which is funny because she's a hard ass throughout this too, which is
yeah, that's cool.
So would you guys pass pull pass yank?
I'd pull this.
Yeah, I think I would pull this. This might even be my pick of the week.
This was my pick.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about our last book this week, Twig #1.
Twig.
This is by Scotty Young on writing with art by Kyle Strom. colorist Jean-Francois Beaulieu, and letterer Nate Picos. It's new image number 1 by, I guess, Image Comics Books Darling, which would be Scotty Young. I feel like there's so many Scotty Young books out at this point.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like good for him getting fucking work. It's great.
Work that's not baby Marvel covers.
I mean, I'm sure that helps pay the bills, especially if you
Yeah.
could resell that original art. Ooh, that probably sells for a tasty penny. He's probably doing perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying he isn't. I understand he's probably tired of them.
Yeah, well, yeah. What'd you guys think about Twig?
Uh,
I think it's a decent start, but I would have liked a little more room to breathe.
Fair.
I was thinking that, but then we get the reveal at the end, and this person is dead. And so now for me, I'm like, oh, all these environments we just explored, now it's about the trip back or the trip to the next place and him finding the next, whatever that next step is. And for me, it felt like, cool, they're giving us flashes and glimpses into the rest of this world to build it out. Now this is the premise that we're going to be exploring. So I kind of like that we had those silent pages of just images and locations, and that it was paced a little bit quicker. Because I think what we get here is Scotty saying, this is the potential, and I'm sold in on that at this point.
For me, it's like if we're gonna use like the hero's journey as a template for this, like I feel like we missed the call to action. Like we kind of get in the middle of it. He's already started his trek. We don't know what called him on this trek. Did his dad die? Something happened where he got this new gig, and he's forced to wake up and do it. I don't think there's that call that we get that really sets him on his journey. I feel like that's missing in this. I do like how it's super goofy throughout. Like nobody really seems serious. It seems like one of those like happy worlds where everything good happens and all these cuddly Muppet-like characters. I did enjoy that part of it. I just wish there was more of a driving. I don't know. Maybe not antagonist isn't the word, but some kind of driving force behind
Conflict.
it. Yeah. I wish there was conflict. We don't get the conflict till the very last page. He even like travels this world without issue. Like there's not like a river that he has to cross or.
It seems like his conflict is that he wants to be a chef. But it's also a bit like, but you're not.
Yeah, and that's only told to us too. We don't even really see that,
Well, I mean, he cooks, the dinner, and he, I guess chops up the mushrooms like a chef.
Talks about spice.
Yeah. But it doesn't ever really give us, like you say, anything to really push us forward.
I think that last bit where what'd you say? What they say his name was? Whatever this character is at the end that shows up as dead.
The cartographer or whatever it was.
I think this book could work if there's like this really dark part of it that's kind of contrasting this really happy, cuddly world. Which is something I think Scotty plays with, and like I Hate Fairyland and stuff like that. That could be nice, but I don't think we got it in this issue, so I didn't really care much for this as a good first issue, to be honest.
Yeah, this seemed like the first 5 minutes of a cartoon episode,
like a cold open to something, honestly.
Yeah, not quite enough to wet my whistle.
There's no meat on these bones. We just get bones, literally, at the end. We just get bones.
Speaking of bones, have you ever read Bone?
Oh,
Yeah. Have you?
Oh, I did when I worked at Barnes & Noble. I would read it on my lunch breaks.
Yeah.
I recently got a few months back the full collection because they had it on sale.
Oh, word.
It's real good.
Yeah, I've read part of it, but I read it in high school, so I don't remember a ton of it. A lot of people are saying this is Bone inspired.
Sure.
I can see that for sure. Yeah. It has the same sort of, cutesy aesthetic. The world's magical. And I'm sure that's to Tyler's point. That is, the facade, and we're gonna get some dark underbelly at some point.
Yeah, and like the other thing that kind of like bummed me out on this was that I did really enjoy the Kyle Strom art. Like I thought it was very good. I thought the character
It's really
designs were
good.
great. I think the worlds looked very interesting. There's like these
Vivid.
vivid and different environments.
Yeah.
But the whole time it just didn't feel lived in.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like it
It
felt
feels
like I
too
was just
shiny and new.
I don't, there's something about it where like it looks very good and I love it, but it doesn't. It feels hollow, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And I can't really pinpoint my finger on what it is. Maybe it's because the story itself was really just like this is like if you did Frodo's journey from the Shire all the way to Rivendell in one issue. Like I feel like there could have been stuff that happened in the middle there that might have driven the story and character progression forward.
I can see that. But for that piece, I feel like it is the issue one. It's setting up. We're not setting up the character yet. We're setting up the conflict still, and
But if we're not here for the character, like, what are we?
There's no conflict in it.
Yeah, what are we doing?
That's a good summation. What are we doing? Is my thoughts reading this.
Like, it's fun and it's cute, but like,
beyond that,
that's it.
yeah. I'm interested in whatever we got here. I'm interested in where it goes after this, just because the last page got me. I'm like, okay,
Sure.
he's dead. Cool. Now what? Right? This was the quest. The quest is hit a roadblock, and now we need to pivot. And I'm at least there for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this book is really the points of it that are actually good are the art is fantastic. I actually really like the art, and I think the banter between Twig and his little tentacle buddy that hangs out on his back. It's like a Banjo-Kazooie situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the main thrust of the book is just them bickering together.
See,
Splat.
I found that really annoying.
Really?
That's fair, I think.
There's nothing more annoying to me than characters in this fantasy world that sound too much like they're in our world. It just it drives me crazy. Like they come out of the mountain's butthole,
Yeah.
right?
was
And
so
that's
funny.
the big joke. And like, okay, haha. And then the last panel is you can't stop thinking about it now, can you? No, thanks for that. Who
Yeah.
says thanks for that? We do.
I mean, all right.
Not
well,
you.
well,
You don't say that.
Thanks for that, Cal.
Just 'cause
Honestly,
they're in a magical world.
I don't even know if I'd give this a number 2. I think this might be one of them trade weight books for me, to be honest.
No way.
Like
For me,
there's something here. There definitely is something
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
It
and
just ain't
it
there yet.
definitely like it. I think there's a good chance this could have a life outside of, us. I think it will be a very, similar to Bone. I think if it goes where it wants to, if it goes where it wants to, maybe at a bit slower pace, it could really be a hell of an epic. But right now it feels too quick.
And also, what this book needs? A fucking map page.
Oh, that'd
Like
be
if you do
good.
like high fantasy like this, like
But-
give me a map or name the places. I couldn't name a place in this whole book.
But for what?
I guess
you
yeah.
see
What do
the-
you need
the
it for? Yeah.
Immersion, though.
But
The main character isn't even immersed.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like immersion where? Like
Does
you
this world
see-
have
you
a
get-
name?
You get glimpses of different places, but you never stay in one place at all.
There's no hubs yet.
Yeah,
But that's what I mean. I think that's forthcoming at this point, and
sure.
and this got me in the door enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna see where that goes. I think if that stays consistent, where we don't get to explore that, where we don't get to see that stuff, I'd agree, but here this just reads to me as okay. There is now potential for the rest of the journey.
Man, I don't know. I don't have faith that it will.
For me, it's
It
one of
just
those
doesn't-
things where like I feel like if somebody's like, "Yo, Twig's good," like 4 issues in, I could definitely be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I could probably see that. Yeah, I'll probably check it out." But like, this wasn't enough.
I'd be that
You know,
guy.
you know what? The reason I don't think I'm looking at the pages with all the different environments and everything. The reason I don't think we'll come back to any of these is they don't have names,
Yeah. How will I know
or
I'm back
at
here?
least names in the that are captioned or whatever.
Okay,
Because if they wanted us to remember them, they would make us remember them.
right. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Looks good though.
It looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I love the design of Twig. He looks cuddly, but also like I don't want to touch him though.
This Stitch-looking motherfucker.
Yeah, he's just got a Stitch thing. He's got like a Stitch thing. I'm thinking like Bug Snacks. If you guys are familiar with Bug Snacks,
No.
it's a
Oh, the game, right?
it's like a PlayStation game. I think it like came out when PlayStation 5 launched.
5 was announced. Yeah.
Some weird ass game, pretty fun. I'm gonna say pass though, honestly.
Dang. Okay. I say pick it up.
I think I'll pass.
Ooh, okay, all right. Well, Cal, you were tasked with something this week.
Ooh, so I was.
You had to read
I-
all, One Star Squadron #1 by Mark Russell and Steve Lieber.
Yeah. Oh, this was Steve Lieber. Of course it was Steve Lieber. This was really fun.
Okay, I thought you'd like it. Yeah.
I did really enjoy this. I don't tend to enjoy these sort of comedy superhero books because often I find they're not doing anything.
It's fair.
What do you mean?
Well, like One Star Squadron felt like it was trying to say something. It really is trying to put a spin on the gig economy with superheroes, but it's leveraging DC's immense,
Library.
thank you, library of D and F list superheroes to tell that story. And it's using even forgotten heroes to do that. Like these people don't have, invincibility. The guy in this book gets hit in the head or whatever, and he has no idea who he is. He doesn't know his family. And frankly, his family appears to not even want him. And that's good.
And I do like how it kind of anchors you with two much more well-known characters with Red Tornado and Power Girl, but like well-known enough where like they can be the heart of the series, but also not well-known enough where like they matter.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Red Tornado. I like that this must be one of his more human phases.
Sure.
But I really enjoyed Red Tornado. Didn't get much of Power Girl out of the first issue.
Yeah, you get more of her, I think, 2 and forward, but yeah.
But I can't promise I'll keep going. But if I end up getting the DC Unlimited or whatever, I will definitely be reading it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a heart to Mark Russell books that I don't think anyone really knows how to do. It's like a specific Mark Russell thing.
And I don't think I've read a Mark Russell. I didn't
dude,
read
Flintstones, man.
So
yeah, everybody
So,
talks
so
about
good.
it.
One of my favorite books of all time.
But this I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I don't know, maybe.
I like that you called out that you felt like he's trying to say something, because I think that is the draw for me for a Mark Russell book is
Yep.
that in
Yeah.
each book there's some sort of thing that he wants you to sort of take away that he's thinking about. He's having a
Yeah.
thought. He's writing the story to make you think the thought, and that's his talent for me.
And also, I feel like Mark Russell works through that thought on the page too. Like, I don't necessarily think the same
Very
thought
much.
on issue 1 is the same thought that comes out in issue 6. You know, there's an evolution of that thought throughout the series, which I think you can see, even if it's a Flintstones or a Red Tornado book, which is nuts that I'm saying that.
I could definitely see this sort of evolving. So, you know, but in that exact way.
Yeah, it goes
so,
places.
yeah,
Did you read Tyler, Not All Robots?
I did. Liked it a lot. Yep.
I like that a lot too. Did you what was the other one? Deadbox?
Mark- Which one?
Deadbox? He
I
like
don't-
explores movies.
Don't recall that one. Oh, interesting.
That one's pretty good. That-
What publisher was that?
I want to say like IDW or something.
Russell's been around. Russell did a Red Sonja book a couple years ago. That was pretty good.
I haven't read that one.
Which, if you got me to read a Red Sonja book, that just proves that I will read a Mark Russell book no matter what it is. So, I think it's good. I would recommend this book. The final issue just came out this week as well. So,
Yeah.
expect a trade oncoming. Kel, you get to tag.
All right.
Dang.
So I'm going to do something unprecedented.
Oh.
The person I wanted to tag decided to pull out like a bitch.
Well, he'll still be here next week. So,
So instead, I'm going to inflict psychic damage on the both of you.
Oh,
And I'm going to tag both of you.
okay. I'll
Tag
have to
team?
figure out how this works, but okay.
I'm going to tag you both to read Binky Brown Meets the Holy Virgin Mary.
What the fuck is that?
So Binky Brown is an autobiographical comic by a guy called Justin Green. He actually just died last week.
Oh wow.
But he's a contemporary of Art Spiegelman, Robert Crumb,
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Oh, I see that.
and those guys. Like I read that he was actually roommates with Art Spiegelman when he
No way.
started Mouse. Yeah. So let me read you the quick synopsis of this is his big book. Binky Brown Meets the Holy Virgin Mary is an autobiographical comic by American cartoonist Justin Green, published in 1972. Green takes the persona of Binky Brown to tell of the compulsive neurosis with which he struggled in his youth, and which he blamed on his strict Roman Catholic upbringing. Green was later diagnosed with OCD and came to see his problems in that light.
Okay. I dig it off the cover for the art alone.
I-
Very underground.
I specifically hoped I wouldn't end up tagging you, to be honest, because I'm
Yeah, this would be
I'm-
something Marco's right down Marco's alley.
yeah.
Kel, how do I read this? That's my first question.
So I have a link. To,
Okay, good.
I
Because
think
I'm like
it's-
on
I think
Amazon,
it's-
it's like, oh, $990 on Amazon
yeah,
for a hardcover.
I think it's actually the Internet Archive that you
Okay.
have to get it from.
I have it here.
So
Gotcha.
I just
I'm
have to
definitely
tell
interested. That is a blind spot for me. That whole era of comics.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
R. Crumb. I do realize the implications of R. Crumb, and his
whatever could you mean?
these little extracurriculars, you know. Some crummy stuff came out. Spiegelman's great. I read Mouse. Mouse is probably the first graphic novel I ever read.
Yeah, of course.
So
A lot of the
interesting, yeah.
conversation I heard around Justin Green last week, I guess, or the week before, when he died, was he actually, like, whereas Robert Crumb was trying to be edgy and he was trying to, get reactions, Justin Green was actually edgy and
Oh, that
earned
looks
his
good.
reactions.
Interesting.
Like, he was what Robert Crumb wanted to be.
is this
Is
story?
the way I understand.
So just off the top of my head, this feels like and I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but this looks like those. I went to Catholic school, so they were wheeling this TV, and you'd watch like Catholic TV, where they had these like sitcoms and cartoon shows that would tell you things about traditional American families. Kind of like what's that Adult Swim book show where it's like claymation?
Moral oral.
Yeah, kind of like a moral oral situation.
Yeah. I know of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm getting feelings of that, except with Bush.
Yeah,
in this book. Okay.
It's a bit like a somehow worse drawn chick tract.
Okay. I mean, this just looks like what Matt Murphy goes on his head on this cover. Jeez, speak my
You know what?
My thoughts, no impure thoughts, no.
when I had the thought, I brought it up to Murphy, and he went, "What is that?"
Oh, this is like the world he's been living in. He's been getting real into something of Tom of Finland is one of his things now. Yeah, something you might like, Marco. It's just like what do you think comic books? We just talked about Flashpoint Batman. It's not. This isn't that. This is a different thing entirely. So yeah, I know Sean ain't tagging me with something like this, so I'm all for it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was hoping to tag
He's
Sean with it.
He's getting into this
Man,
stuff?
he would hate this.
Oh, Sean wouldn't like this at all. No, that would be he'd be
hate
shitting all over
this.
this. But yeah, that's what we read this week. That's Pals Pulls, fellas.
What's up for next week, Tyler?
We got some Pals Pulls for next week. Next week, Marco, you got a Grimm #1.
Grimm. So this is by Stephanie Phillips. I've been picking up more of her stuff recently. I was a big fan of Avery. Not as big a fan of the Harley Quinn series. She has some other stuff that she does, the few other publishers. But if it's a Stephanie Phillips book, I'm going to give it an issue 1 and issue 2. This is a story about a person who takes on the role of the new Grim Reaper. This person has been chosen, has been assigned to it, and now has to live their life as the Grim Reaper.
So one of the things that jumps out to me on here is Flaviano on art. Oof.
I don't know.
Flaviano did some of the Power Man and Iron Fist series that was also drawn by Sanford Green. Some of the non-Sanford Green issues were by Flaviano with Rico Renzi on colors. Like, hello.
Yellow.
So I did not know what this was, and you told me about it, and I was very intrigued.
Huh.
Okay. I also had
a
little something called Jurassic League #1.
Yo, Jurassic League, come on, bro. Danny Warren Johnson, he's not on art. But I'll give you the fact that he's writing. He has, at least to me, shown that he is very capable of putting together some sort of heartfelt story. He is able to really carry these action moments and action sequences and just drive a really engaging book. And for that reason alone, it's on my list. And then also the art looks fantastic.
Wangedian on art.
Yeah, like it just from that alone, I think the style, the heavy inks, it feels dirty. It feels a little bit more of that underground style, and I'm about it.
Kale, you got 8 billion genies on here.
Good call, Kale.
So this is the new Charles Soule and Ryan. Is it Ryan Brown?
Yeah, Ryan Brown.
Yeah. They did a book called Curse Words. And it was something I always wanted to get on board with, but I just never really did. But this book sounds fun. It's apparently everyone on Earth gets a genie, and they get one wish.
That's cool.
And that's the book.
So I was trying to bring up my Ryan Brown sketch that I have because I love Ryan Brown. Probably one of my favorite convention artists.
Is that the one? Are you the one that got the Ryan Brown sketch where Charles Soule is
So
Harley
friend
Quinn.
Kevin, my
Was it you?
friend Kevin has that. No, but I was there for it
okay.
being requested and picked up.
That's
which
awesome.
was awkward as hell. And then I was there for when Charles Soule saw it. It's
Incredible.
also weird. It's like the Daddy's Little Monster outfit too.
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
Horrified. He's not a very emotive guy, but as much as like, oh, okay, yep, that's a thing. But Ryan Brown's great. I asked for I have a Bib Fortuna sketch by him, and when I picked it up, it's just Bib Fortuna riding Akira's motorcycle from.
Oh,
And
sick.
didn't ask for that. But he's
Akira.
like, yeah, I wanted to draw that, so I drew Bib Fortuna riding that. So Ryan Brown's great. Yeah, I'm usually down for any book from these guys. So, and you and I both had Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, #1.
I don't have any Moon Knight history. I've read Warren Ellis's trade, but that's not like anything really.
It's what, 5 issues? Yeah, it's
And
good.
It's
but
it's silent mostly.
mostly, yeah.
But I am really enjoying the show a lot more than I expected going in. And I think it was my pick of the year. So that's still saying something. So I don't know. I'm excited about Moon Knight.
The show being your favorite thing would be the pick of the year, or
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
I think.
This has Jonathan Hickman and Chris Bachalo on a Moon Knight story. That sells it alone, and then Mark Guggenheim and Jorge Fornes on a Moon Knight story.
Oh, Fuentes.
Oh, Fornes is so good. I'm ready for this. I'm a fan of those these anthology, I guess, short story books. You know, Electra. There was an Electra one that came out. Had some good Greg Smallwood art in it. So yeah, I'm excited for this. And then I also put crossover #13 on here.
Yes.
I'm digging crossover, man.
A
Kale,
lot of fun.
have you checked crossover out?
I read there was a big controversy that Marco lit up.
That Marco lit up. That some
In the
writer
What
lit
did
up.
you do, Marco?
Bro, all I did was disagree.
Well, and you were wrong.
No, I wasn't.
So I read the context, and I thought it was fine.
Okay. What if I told you Madman's one of the main characters of this book?
He's one of the main characters.
He is probably the most prominent Image Comics character in this.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, this is a book where they're taking comic characters from all over the place and just throwing them into one fucking book. And turns out, spoiler, Donny Cates is also in this book. So we got a bit of a Hitchcockian thing going on
You
here.
people.
Yeah, there is. I don't want to talk about this book too much because
I
this book's
know.
just spoiler heavy because it's like every issue something happens. But I'm just having fun with it. It is very comic booky. And he loves that it's that. And I think this
Rebels
one's
in it.
solicited as the final issue, even though it's not the final issue. It's like, oops, we accidentally solicited the final issue, but they're like playing on that. So like, I can't even trust the
good.
solicitations to know what's going on in this book. It's fun. There's a bit of an undertone of like ultra religious conservatism against the comic bookness of it. Maybe that was the controversy or something.
Something
It
else.
was related to that.
Yeah.
It was in the first issue.
But there's that kind of undertone in this too, which
I don't remember.
I'm having fun with this, man. This is a fun book, and they have like guest writers on it. There's a Chip Zdarsky issue where
So good.
Chip writes about Chip.
Don't say it.
It's very chippy, but he plays around with that. It's fun, man. It's good. Cal, honestly, I think you would enjoy this. I don't know what your track record is on Donny Cates,
Hit or miss.
but this is like a love of comic books, and this is like Easter egg the book too.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't do anything for me.
but it's not like DC Marvel Easter eggs. It's like, oh, they put that in this book, sort of thing. It's like any creator-owned book. Everyone's like, yeah, sure, you can do it.
But it's also like not just blatant about it. It's not just like, look at this, right? It's very much, oh, this is a moment, and then the moment passes and it doesn't affect the story. It's just a moment that's in there. Sometimes for shock value.
Sometimes. It's good looking too.
Oh, it's real good.
That I'd recommend it. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. Sean doesn't know any polls. He's too busy watching Doctor Strange. Which I am going to sober up and watch myself tonight. So
I am going first thing in the morning.
Don't sober up, Tyler.
I gotta drive there, doofus.
Oh, well, all right. In that case,
I'm going solo, man. I gotta drive myself.
just leave it in the. Oh, I guess you don't have Ubers up there. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not in the fucking tundra. Of course, there's Ubers. It's too cheap. I just know I'll be fine. I just gotta eat something. I'm good.
You couldn't get McKenna to go with you?
Oh no, Doctor Strange, no.
This is actually the only one I've been able to get Jess to go with me.
The one that requires the most homework.
Well, Scarlet Witch is her favorite.
Fair.
Yeah, she likes that.
So she loved WandaVision. She doesn't want to see it, but Scarlet Witch is in it, so she's got to go see it.
I tried getting my wife to watch WandaVision. Wasn't really into it. Wasn't into the whole. This is a play on the history of TV. I fucking love that shit. I ate that shit like.
Yeah.
I almost said ass. Anyway.
Hey, it's part of the job.
But she really liked Loki, so I was trying to sell her on that bit, but I didn't do it.
But Loki
maybe a rewatch. It's also a Thursday, and I felt like I needed to see it as soon as possible, just for myself.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that should be fun. We'll be talking about that on Saturday, guys. So.
Yep.
Or tomorrow when this comes out for you VOD viewers, which is probably why we don't have that many viewers today. I think people are a little fucking busy on the comics front.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Old Trapdoor's didn't stick around to
His
Trapdoor is still here.
He's still here. Main man.
But yeah, Marco, where can people find you? That's it. We're it for Pals Pals. I gotta piss and eat something and go see this movie. So
people can find me at Toto in Toe. That's TOTOINTOW.
What multiverse are we in?
You can also find.
Never gotten to do that to my own.
Trapzord!
The fourth man Trapzord.
You can also find my work at caleward.com. That's CALEWARD.com.
You got the fucking the rhythm correct, man.
Mm-hmm. I hear it every week. It's only been 6 years.
Every week.
It's only been like 6 years. Damn sure I'm getting that rhythm right.
I'm surprised Sean was able to kick the opening to the Comics Pals so quickly. Like I thought that would be ingrained in him so hard.
I feel like he practiced. I think it probably took him a lot. Because if you notice, there is still just a little bit of format there.
A little, yeah.
Kale, where do you find Marco?
You can find me, not Marco, at Mr. Marco Animoto on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
And let's see, what am I watching? I'm buying Chainsaw Man again.
Okay.
Oh, are you really?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, nice.
I just bought chapter 4 in physical, so I am hyped.
I only got one. I do want to check it out though. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. Maybe that'll be my little project.
Man, I started it. I could not stop when it was coming out originally.
I just know there's a gun demon. That's what I heard.
Man, the demons look so good. Chainsaw Man looks tremendous. The bomb demon.
Hey man,
girl.
we can throw that we could throw volume 1 on a Patreon book club if they get the votes.
Oh, damn.
Sean's not here. You can't say no.
Can't say shit right now.
Yeah. Sean can't say shit. Let's do it.
You can follow me at Sean's Soapbox. Wait, no, Sean's not here. You can't even plug for me. You can find me at Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter is where you can find me. Sean can be at Sean's Soapbox on probably just Twitter if he feels like it.
Yeah. Instagram,
find Sean on the Discord. Sean likes the Discord.
Or the
YouTube
YouTube
comments.
comments. Yeah.
Or yeah, if you piss anyone off in the YouTube comments, Sean's coming for you. And me, I'll be seeing Doctor Strange later. We'll talk about that. Not today, but yeah.
All right, Trapsword. We will see you on Saturday at, guys, what time?
10
15
10:15
a.m.
EST.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Eastern.
Wait for my
Thank you
coffee
for
to cool
sticking
down.
around,
Usually it takes
Trapsword.
15 minutes for my coffee to cool down. All right,
Send
guys.
it to you.
Au revoir. See ya.
Doctor Strange.
I'm just waiting for Kel for.
Oh, see you next week.
There we go.